Chapter 28 of Angel Food for Jack and Jill. Little Talks to Little Folks by Reverend Gerald T. Brennan. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Maria Therese. Chapter 28. Denny Dinwiddie. If I were to ask you which part of the newspaper you like best, I know what your answer would be. You would tell me that you like the funnies. I think most people read the funnies. Men, women, and children read the funnies. And for some people the funnies are the best part of the paper. Now, don't be surprised when I tell you that I read the funnies too. Yes, I do. Of course, I don't read all the funnies because some of them are not funny. But I do read the good ones. Would you like to know which funnies I read? Well, I read Blondie, because Blondie and her family are always good for a laugh. Then I read Little Henry, because he's everybody's favorite. Joe Palooka is on my list too. I read Bringing Up Father because I know the man who draws Maggie and Jiggs, and I never miss They'll Do It Every Time. Now there's one funny that I certainly enjoy, and that is Winnie Winkle. Do you know why I read Winnie Winkle? Because I like the little fellow, Denny Dinwiddie. Little Denny Dinwiddie is one of my favorites. If you haven't followed little Denny in the past, then you had better get busy and meet him. Denny is a grand little fellow, and you'll like him. Wherever Denny Dinwiddie goes, a little green fellow follows him. The little green fellow is only about an inch tall, and, most of the time, Denny doesn't see him, and you don't see him either. When Denny Dinwiddie is tempted to do wrong, however, the little green fellow appears immediately. When Denny is tempted to cheat, the little green fellow warns him that cheating is wrong. If Denny is tempted to lie, the little green fellow holds him back. If Denny gets a job and wastes time, the little green fellow tells him that he must work for his pay. Yes, the little green fellow is always on the job, warning Denny Dinwiddie not to do wrong, warning him not to give in to temptation. Of course, Denny Dinwiddie always listens to the little green fellow, and Denny always follows his advice. That's why Denny Dinwiddie always does the right thing. Who is the little green fellow who follows Denny Dinwiddie wherever he goes? Who warns Denny and keeps him out of trouble? Well, you boys and girls who follow Denny know the answer. The little green fellow is Denny's conscience. Now, Denny Dinwiddie isn't the only one who has a conscience. You, too, have a conscience. Your conscience isn't a little green fellow, because your conscience is inside of you. When the devil tempts you to do wrong, your conscience is always on the job. Your conscience warns you and tells you what is right and what is wrong. If you will listen and follow the advice of your conscience, you'll never do wrong. You will always do the right thing. Why do some boys and girls do wrong? Why do some boys and girls make sins? Because they stuff their ears and don't listen to their conscience. That's where they make a big mistake. Almighty God wants boys and girls to do the right thing at all times. That's why God gave each of you a conscience. The little green fellow is Denny Dinwiddie's best friend, and your conscience is your best friend. Don't be annoyed when your conscience bothers you. When your conscience bothers you, that's a sign that you are in danger. If you will listen to and follow your conscience, you won't get into trouble and you won't fall into sin. Little Denny Dinwiddie doesn't look very bright in the funnies, but I think he is a very smart fellow. Denny never makes a mistake. He never does wrong. Denny always listens to and follows the advice of his conscience. Why don't you follow the example of little Denny Dinwiddie? End of chapter 28. End of Angel Food for Jack and Jill. Little Talks to Little Folks by Reverend Gerald T. Brennan.